Good afternoon, everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody on Christmas Eve. Um, Hope everybody has a good and safe holiday, and then we can get back to basketball next week. We are doing the week one recap, myself and Doug. We'll be going over our updated top 10, some highlights from the WOBM Classic that we were at on Saturday, some highlights throughout the week that we saw, players of the week for each division, and our Broad Street Dough Company player of the week, which we were happy to have them on board and sponsor the player of the week. And we'll go through more of that, towards the end of the show. Doug, thanks for joining me again, and look forward to a long season with you.
Yeah, what's going on, Nick? Merry Christmas to everybody. I wish I had a hat that fit my fat head, but this is the best I could do. So,
Any plans with the family?
no, just staying local. My wife's baking right now and making lasagna, so house
No,
smells good.
I might have to run over there.
Feeling about 20 pounds heavier already. So,
I've been eating cookies all day today, and
uh,
we'll head over to my sister's later on for tonight.
just
And
eat her cookies too.
yeah, I've been getting yelled at because they're the kids' cookies. So first, me and you spent some time at, you were there a little longer than I was at the WOBM, a great event
Yeah.
run by Kevin, every year. Um, I guess, we'll talk about the game that everyone probably had circled first was the Toms River North and Marlboro game. First three quarters a little lackluster, but the fourth and overtimes did not disappoint.
I thought that on paper, that would be the best game of the day. Pretty
Mhm.
evenly matched teams, a lot of veterans back on each team. And for the first three quarters, I had trouble keeping my eyes open.
Me too.
It was pretty, uh, you said lackluster, I'll say boring, but both teams trying to find their footing early on. I believe the score was 23-21 at the end of the third, something
20,
like that.
22-20, I think it was.
24-22 at the end of the
24-20.
third. Each team doubled their scoring in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
And I think both teams woke up and it just became a slugfest. It was great. North would hit a big shot, then Marlboro come back and hit a big shot, and it ended up being a good game. And North pulled it out, 60-57 in overtime.
Yes.
So after the game, I thought, hey, North looked pretty good. Marlboro looked pretty good. Schlesinger didn't have a great game. But D. Simone stepped it up in the fourth quarter and overtime. And, North got to overtime, and Gia Passat had a big game, 20 points, 24 rebounds. But it was Brandy Manna that stepped up late in the fourth and early in overtime, and a couple of big steals and big free throws that kept North in the game.
Yeah, she had two big steals towards the end of the game. Resulting in her getting fouled on one of them. I think she made a layup on the other. We know how good she is on soccer defense, and she brought that over to the basketball court, and that to me that was the big difference maker. It stops like that. One turnover from somebody coming off the bench could spark a team, and it really woke Tom's their offense up.
In games like that, it's like you said, it's one player or one play that can make a difference. And the game was close the whole time, and she just happened to make plays down the stretch.
Yeah, and like we said, the first three quarters quite boring, but we definitely woke up in the fourth quarter, and it was very type of game. We kind of wished that after the three quarters, we're like, when was this going to end? And then after the game ended, we were wishing that it just kept on going because that's how exciting it was. And first game of the year, maybe the teams had a little jitters, but they definitely found their footing, towards the end of the game, and they put on both teams put a show on for both of us, for everybody there. The next game we could talk about, the Wall Red Bank Regional. It was close at the end. It was close at the beginning, but I just never felt that Red Bank Regional was in any trouble throughout the game. Iris, great first game. Welcome to the shore, 31 points. She nailed all her free throws. A couple big threes. Cameron Gardner, I thought had a very good game. Very interesting that she did a lot of the ball handling and bringing the ball up, which I think, which JT will probably see more of that, which probably, give her more confidence, only a sophomore. Um, and Wall, like we said while we were there, they missed a few easy shots in the first quarter. They could have actually been winning after the first quarter. And then, they were pretty slow the second and third quarter. And then, Shane Eldridge, I think she scored 10 or 13 in the fourth. She had majority, all but 3 points in the fourth quarter, and, made it a closer game. But what were your thoughts on that game?
I thought Eldridge hit a bomb in the first quarter from the
Mm-hmm.
hash mark, and thought maybe she'd get going, but RBR completely shut her down till I think there was 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and
Mm-hmm.
she scored 13 points in the last 4 minutes
Yeah.
of the game. She came alive, but Thorpe stepped up in the meantime and had a
Yes.
good game. And Taverdic, solid player. She's going to play a solid game. But RBR, yeah, I agree. I don't think they were ever in danger. I think
Mm-hmm.
Wall missing a lot of layups in the first quarter. Um, I don't think RBR ever felt they were in trouble. And I mean, as Kona just put on a display her first game in the short conference. And I think I read a stat. She in 3 games so far, she's 24 for 24 from the free throw line. She
I
hasn't
know
missed a
if
free throw in three
could
games.
I know after the second game she still hasn't missed a free throw, and I believe you're right. I thought I saw that she still hasn't after the free whole game.
And that's a great addition for JT because you know, you said Gardner handled the ball a lot, and I was kind of surprised to see that, but
Yeah.
but her confidence and her ball handling has improved so much since last year.
Yeah.
It took a little heat off Escona, let her run free for some off screens and
Yeah.
get her
Which is her
shots. But
which is her strength too.
yeah, it's getting open and hitting shots. But she handled the ball well. And a thing I've no in that game, the second game, even the Tom's River North game, a lot of these short teams have 3 or 4 solid players. Some have 2, some have 5,
Mm-hmm.
but a lack of depth,
Yep.
um, lack
Yep.
of bench on a lot of the teams. If any of these girls get in foul trouble, if there's ever, God forbid, an injury, I mean, that could derail a season for some of these teams because you could see coaches are afraid to go to the bench or they put kids in that are afraid to be on the court. Maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
younger kids, but just an overall lack of depth besides Manasquan and RBC, which
And St. John Vianney,
you
obviously.
expect, right? Well, we didn't see them, but yeah, the teams we
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
Um, but that's why they're the top 3 teams in the shore. Um, every other team has a depth problem. It seems like to me. So, but
I agree.
RBR, yeah, and RBR will be. It'll be a good game moving forward. I think they got a couple games under the belt. But I think that game, they're just a better team than Wall.
Yeah. Who do they have next? Do they have?
They play
Is it
Donovan.
Manasquan?
Donovan.
Oh, they
Donovan.
play Diamond.
Yeah,
That
Donovan.
should
Yep.
be
Should be a good game.
interesting matchup. Bringing up Donovan. They probably let Central stay around longer than they should. And one thing we learned from Central, they're not going to give up no matter what the score is. They're going to fight and claw until the very end. Um, Martine, the point guard, opened my eyes how good a passer she was in that Donovan game.
We, I agree. We had her as a younger player in AAU, and
Mhm,
you could see she had great court vision. But
mhm.
this game, she found Krzyzkowski a lot,
Yeah,
and Krzyzkowski had a big game. Um, Donovan, you're right. They kind of let them hang around. They extended the lead to 18 with 2.5 minutes left, and
yes,
all of a sudden, Central scored 10 points in a row.
yeah,
And you know, and I think one of the things that Donovan has to be careful. There's a couple things. One, they have to be careful of when they get a big lead. Slow the game down a little bit.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
they're rushing down the court, bombing threes, and you're up 18 points at 2.5 minutes. Triple the clock. I mean, they're going to have to foul you, or they're not going to foul you up 18. But they're coming down, and first person to touch the ball's throwing up a shot. And I also didn't like, as a coach, I try to watch things other than what's going on. But
mm,
body language wasn't great on the
Mhm.
Donovan team, and they seem to bicker a little bit, even when they're up 18, 16, 18,
Mhm.
14. Some people weren't happy with the lack of shots they were getting. Some people were unhappy with the way the offense was not going through them, and they let it be known on the court. Everybody in the gym heard it.
Yeah.
So that for a team that's has lofty goals and aspirations, they're going to have to get that under control because it won't show its head early in the season, but when you get down to crunch time in big games like short conference, you can't have that discord. And
I I agree. They looked the best when, they were moving the ball. Everyone was touching the ball, and they were getting the open look, and that's when they were opening it up. And then when we were getting the ball and, getting down court and just throwing the shot up, Central went on that run, and, where it was able to cut into that lead. They could be very dangerous if they play the team game, and we could see that. Gabby's such a good scorer. Could score any way she wants. Joseph, very good. Conroy.
one
You
thing I
know,
noted, Olivia's off the ball defense
uh,
is phenomenal.
yeah, I think she
Um,
had like 10 steals that game.
she had about six um,
Just
off the ball steals,
interceptions.
cross court passes.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said if I was starting a football team, I'd want her as my starting safety. Kid reads the court and just is in the right spot at the right time. Got six easy layups just
yeah,
by reading where the ball was going. And but again, if it wasn't for her strong defense, that game could have been a lot closer than it ended up being. So
yeah.
um, just a couple of things Donovan has to watch out for them, as the season goes on.
Yeah, and like it's early in the season. Hopefully they figure it out. Like they are when they were playing like a team, they're going to be tough to beat for anybody.
Yes.
Um, but if they start playing that that selfish ball, they could have a up and down season.
Yep. Agreed.
Uh, the last game that I stayed for, not much of a game, was Manasquan Brick Memorial. Good game that she got everybody in by the fourth quarter. Lisa, it's really tough to comment. Their second round matchup should be, who do they play?
They will play. Have that here.
RBR Donovan.
They're going to play Tom's River North.
Tom's River North. Um, so that could be interesting, but like you said, Tom's River North not the deepest team either. Lisa has a very, she has freshmen that could probably be playing at other schools right now. Um, so I mean, not really much to say about the Manasquan Brick Memorial game, unfortunately.
No, Brick Memorial, a lot of multi-sport athletes, so you're going to get scrappiness out of them. They're going to be tough. They're
Yes,
not going to
which
give
we
up.
saw.
Yeah, but you're just overmatched against Manasquan, like most teams are going to be. And just Manasquan's overall team size, like most of you look out and you see most of the girls are about the same size,
Yeah.
5'10" to 6 foot tall. Even the girls on the bench are pretty big. So they're just a very experienced team. They're very deep, and I don't. I would be surprised if Tom's River North hangs around very long in that quarterfinal matchup.
Yeah. I mean, pretty we're probably going to see RBC, Manasquan, in the finals unless something drastic happens. A game I wasn't at the game, but Rumson. They played Morris Catholic first, I think, right? Or Sparta. They lost to Sparta.
Right.
And come back. Middletown South, a scrappy team. They handled Middletown South. Now, can you talk a little bit of that game since I had to leave for work?
Yeah, I thought going into the game it would be. I mean, I thought Rumson had an advantage, but I thought
Yeah.
Middletown South, well coached team and bringing some girls back. But Grace Colucci was on fire early,
Hmm.
and she kind of stepped up the scoring early until Corsentino got going, and she got going, and between those two and their inside girls, just Rumson kind of just beat up on Middletown South. The Middletown South, between Renee Wells and Bella Orlando, had a pretty nice game going,
Hmm.
but they just did not have enough to stay with most.
Okay. Now Rumson moves on and they play Ewing, who defeated Tom's
Correct.
River East. I know Ewing. I think they just cracked the top 20 in the state.
Up 20. One and
Brian's top 20.
19. Mhm.
Um, what could you say about Tom's River East that game?
Listen, I thought Tom Reese did a good job. It looked at points that Ewing was going to blow him out, and
Hmm.
Tom's River would make a run. And you could tell that Lizzie Gillen's the number one option, uh,
Hmm.
and she's a good basketball player. She wasn't on early, and Ewing kind of extended the lead, and then Abby Goodall came off the bench and had a great game. She hit a couple big shots, kept East in the game. And East is just they're tough. They're a bunch of multi-sport athletes, soccer players, and they never gave in to Ewing. When, like I said, when Ewing looked like they were going to extend the lead and blow them out, they kept coming back, and I think it ended up being a. I don't have the final score here, but I think it was a pretty close score at the end, maybe a 10, 12-point game. But Ewing's good. Ewing has very, very good players, very athletic, and they like to run up
59-46
and down
was
the
the
court.
final.
Yeah, 13 points. They like to run up and down the court, but East hung with them for a while, and thought it was pretty good showing by them.
Hmm. The game after that was Manchester and Colts Neck. A very close game, right? That was a close game.
Yes, Colts Neck ended up winning by 3 or 5, but that game was, I guess, if we called the Tom's first 3 quarters of the Tom's River North game boring.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't know that it was just. I mean, competitive. I guess it was close the whole game. Manchester had the lead through 3 quarters,
Uh-huh.
with Amaya Bray not playing her best game.
Hmm.
She couldn't hit a shot early. They talk about a lack of depth. They were missing
Devin.
Devin Quigley, who didn't play, and Amaya Bray and Maya Horgan led the team 12 and 11 points, or 13 and 12 points. But Manchester's going to struggle this year. They're 3 players deep, and that's
Yeah.
not. I'm not. And again, I don't fault people for trying. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but being realistic and seeing this team over the past 6 years, they are 3 players deep. And if one struggles or 2 struggle or one gets in foul trouble, it's going to be a long season. Now, they just beat Allentown the other day, which is a pretty good out-of-conference win. But Colts Neck, Juliana Gibson is a great player. She was off early. She missed a lot of layups early in the first quarter. She came back. I think she finished with 19 points. But she had a really good game. But again, if she struggles, Colts Neck's going to struggle. So 2 evenly matched teams, but I don't think it's going to be a very competitive quarterfinal against Red Bank Catholic.
Okay. Yeah, that's the last game. We really, they played Tom's River South. I don't even know what the final was, but I'm sure, it wasn't pretty. And the RBC had a quick turnaround because they had Saddle River
Right. The next day.
the next day, which they then they were on the short side of that game. Saddle River, ranked number 2 right now in the state,
Yeah.
and they were missing 2 starters from my understanding.
Sydney
Don't
Caldwell's injured, and
don't quote me on that. I don't know outside the shore, but
you're right.
I
You're
heard
right.
2 starters were out. So so Monday we got RBC and Colts Neck, Rumson and Ewing. That should be a fun game. That Rumson
Oh yeah,
Ewing.
that should be up and down. That'll be a track meet. Ewing's streaky. Ewing's a very streaky team. They can hit a lot of shots on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
But they're prone. If Rumson plays a disciplined game, they lost girls on East on defense a couple times, and I, no secret, Rumson's a better shooting team than Tom's River East. So if their girls can get going, that should be a pretty competitive game.
The first game is going to be Donovan RBR. That should be a very a fun game. and the game after that is North and Manasquan. So,
Right.
I mean, you feel like doing some picks? Do you feel like doing selection?
Sure.
All
Sure.
right,
First game RBR and
Donovan.
Donovan. Um, I'll go with Donovan.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
not a
gonna.
homer pick because it's my alma mater, but
Yeah,
I think if they play well and play together,
hmm.
they they should beat RBR. It'll be a good game though.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go with Donovan. They got a lot of firepower, and and Gabby. I think Gabby and Olivia combined for 25 turnovers that first game.
Right. Now
They're
RBR, if Gardner plays the way she did the other day and Holloway steps up because you can see she's a freshman, she had her nerves.
yeah,
Um, but if she stepped now they could be a that could give Donovan trouble because Donovan
yeah.
does not have size.
No,
So
Mackenzie's pretty
um,
much it.
so if Ascona's on and they're finding the girls inside, it could be a really competitive game.
Mm,
I'll pick Donovan.
okay, I agree with you. Manasquan, Toms River North. I'm gonna go with Manasquan. They're just too deep, too much firepower.
Yeah, I agree.
The next game will be Ewing and Rumson.
I'll go with the short conference team.
Yeah,
I will go with Rumson because I think Dave's a great coach, and I'm sure he watched the game and is going to formulate a game plan to put his kids in the best position to win. And they're not going to back down from anybody. So, the Ewing parents were yelling and screaming, and I don't think Rumson will be intimidated.
yeah.
So, I think it'll be a good game, but I'll give the nod to Rumson.
I'll agree. And I also, I love talking with Dave, basketball, and it's you just the passion. I saw him, last year at summer league, and the passion of him. He can talk basketball forever. He's a great guy, and
He
yeah,
loves his kids. They'll fight. They'll run through a brick wall for him.
yep.
So
And the last game, RBC Colts Neck. Yeah,
I'll go with RBC.
yeah, we'll go RBC.
Yeah.
Um, the last game I want to talk about that me and you attended was, we went to the Toms River North Neptune game. Pretty interesting game. Um, Neptune, they were up big in the fourth. I think they hit 10 at one point, and
Hmm.
they were still pushing the ball. I think actually it might have been 12-point lead. They were
Yeah.
pushing the ball. It allowed Toms River North. The final score was by 7. Um, but it was an interesting game. Evans, she opened up the fourth with 10 points herself.
Yeah. 10 straight herself. Right.
That was the first time me getting to watch her play, and she did not disappoint.
No. And again, like we talked about with Donovan before, you get a big lead, and North wasn't really posing a threat at that point.
Mhm.
They
Yeah,
kind of had seemed like they were defeated, um, and Evans was having her way, and then they come down. They 3 turnovers in a row, missed layup, but
mm,
he should have been holding the ball a little bit.
that's what I.
And at the end of the game, Tom's River North didn't foul. It was still a pretty close game.
Yeah,
56 seconds left. They didn't
yeah,
foul. So, I mean, you know,
mm.
I think the game could have been closer. And North was there most of the way until
Yeah,
Evans lit it up in the fourth quarter.
yeah. It was a very
Um,
close game.
and I think part of North had some issues. The ball movement wasn't very good.
Hmm.
A lot of turnovers on the perimeter. A lot of turnovers on the perimeter. They would just get down, get into their offense, and the ball be going the other way.
Yeah, a lot of bad passing.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
bad passing. A lot of missed layups early in the
Hmm.
game.
Mm.
Um,
What
and
what kept them in, I think, was Jackie had.
yeah, 23 and 20.
I'm counting just offensive 2, 3, 4, 5. She had 6 offensive rebounds herself. Gia had 5 offensive. That's 11 offensive rebounds right there.
Yeah,
Help. Without those, the game could have been a little more uglier.
offensive rebounds are great, but you know what that means? They missed 11
A lot.
shots.
Yes, yeah. I
So,
mean, there was a couple.
and they were all inside. There wasn't many jump. They were missing a
Yeah,
lot of chippies.
yeah.
And Gia didn't really touch the ball a lot. She early in the game she had her hands on the ball. Second half, I mean, we watched.
Yeah,
I don't think she scored. She scored 2 points, maybe in the second half, 4 points.
two fouls,
Um,
4 points.
yeah, and that's the girl that scored 20 and got 24 rebounds in your first
Yeah,
game, and
you're
she was
not getting
kind
her the
of on the
ball.
outside of the offense. And
Yeah,
listen, I'm not telling anybody how to coach because that's just not. But I thought she should have been more involved in the game.
yeah.
It was really their guards that dominated the game. A lot of outside shots in the second half.
Hmm.
And if we said the first half, they got some inside shots, missed a lot. Second half, it was mostly guard dominated. They had two girls inside that were playing pretty physically between Jackie and Gia. And I think if they had gotten the ball inside more, it might have been a different story. Again, Evans rips off 10 points in a row by herself.
Yeah.
Not much you could do about that. But, I think North going forward, they're going to have to cut down on the turnovers. And they're going to have to get their bigs involved a little more in the game plan.
Another player I wanted for Neptune, Evans' younger sister, Bree. I think she finished with 4 or 5 steals. Didn't score that much, but didn't need to. But she's only a freshman. I think she's going to be a name that we're going to see rising through the ranks over the next 4 years, and sure.
Yeah, she looked pretty good. And then you had Young, who missed a lot of shots in the first half, couldn't really get on track, and then came through with a couple of big foul shots towards the
Yeah.
end. So yeah, they have a good nucleus.
But also, Young, she also didn't force the issue in the second half. Not a
Right.
lot of bad shots in the second half. She didn't let they did a good job getting Evans was the hot end. They did a good job, getting her the ball in the fourth
Yep.
quarter. So, I mean, that was all the games that we attended this week. I did stream the St. Rose Point Borough game for a little bit yesterday.
Yeah,
It was
that wasn't very close.
no. I thought it'd be a little bit closer than that. But talking about deep teams, I know they're freshmen, but um, this is the first time in probably 2 years. Mary Beth has a little bit of a bench. They are freshmen, but she, if anybody could get the most out of the freshmen, it's probably Mary Beth. Um, so a lot of things happened even games we weren't at. A couple highlights. One I want to bring up, Jen Farrer, Point Pleasant. I think she finished with 31 the first
Won the
game.
first game.
Big highlight. Drejos scored 33 her first game and then followed it up with 22 against RBC, which is that's an impressive feat.
Right.
Any other highlights you got noted?
Zoe Mafey, Jackson
Oh.
Memorial, 26 points her first game.
Mhm.
Um,
And I think Amber had 21 rebounds that first game.
yeah,
Amber
first
Williams.
game against
Yeah.
Southern, I believe. And of course, we didn't get to see St. John Vianney this weekend, but
Yeah.
just 33 points and by Miss Steady and
Yeah.
and Zoe Brooks playing her first couple of games with them looked good. And I said it in the preview. I just don't see any team in New Jersey coming close to beating them.
No. They have that. They're going down to Florida for that event, and that first game, I think Lake Highland, Lake Highland, I think, or I mean, I think I saw them ranked 12th in the country. Whoever their
Okay,
first St. John
that
Vianney.
should be a good test. Yeah,
Yeah, and Dawn don't back away from any. She wants to play the very best, and they put a good whooping on. I think did they play Morris Catholic the first day? Is that who they played the first day? Let me
I know
pull it
they
up.
played the team from Pennsylvania, Chartiers.
That beat
Second,
RBR.
and we were talking to a parent of a former St. John Vianney player the day before, saying he said he thought Chartiers would give them
A,
a
a
game.
few people. I think even
Yeah,
Tiny. I think even Tiny might have tweeted that's going to be a closer game than people.
and I think Vianney put 96 on them. So,
Yeah, I'm pulling up Vianney right
so
now.
much for a close game.
Yeah, they beat Morris Catholic 86-50, and then they beat Chartier Valley 95-66.
Yeah, yeah. So
And everyone also says the St. John Vianney in the second half. I don't know what she says to them. The last couple of years, this team comes out in the second half, and they put it on defensive and offensively. They play at another level at the second half. It's really impressive to see, and it's so consistent.
they're a machine.
Yeah.
Are a machine.
So Maddie had, is this overall stats? Hang on. 33. So Madison St. Rose had 33 points against
Yeah, yeah,
that team, and I was told they have. So she 57 points in the first two games.
yeah. 33 against a team that I believe is maybe number one in Western Pennsylvania.
Yes, I
Two
think
Division
somebody
One
told her.
players, and yeah,
Yeah,
33 against them. So
she yeah, Matt, she's special, and luckily for us, she's going to Princeton, so we get to watch, after she graduates 4 more years.
if Princeton decides to let fans in the games ever.
Oh yeah, who knows? Um, I'm just going through these records. Jackson Memorial started off 2-0.
I think they're 3-0
Three. Oh,
or
they
two
might
and
be.
0, right?
Yeah.
Two division wins.
Um,
So
Neptune 2-0, and that big win
mhm.
against Tom. That's a pretty good win for for Neptune over Tom's River North. Barnegat and Lacey both 3-0.
Right, yeah.
I think you have them teams up, right? Stock up, right?
So yeah, stock up on those two teams and
Okay.
Jackson Memorial.
And Jackson Moore.
Yeah,
Um, and St. Rose and Manasquan 3-0 in the
yeah.
division. Um, and St. Rose played one of those charter schools from out in Pennsylvania. That first,
Pennsylvania.
yeah,
And again, Rosie, forgot to mention her name, but she's starting off the season pretty hot too. So
yeah. She's
yeah,
doing what we expected out of her. I'm trying to see what she has 57 points in the first
yeah,
3 games, and Maggie Kavanaugh 19 rebounds to start the season. She's a four. They don't have the size down here, but they fight.
yeah. They do absolutely.
So we'll do our division players of the week, and
Sure.
then we'll announce our overall player of the week. So hang on, let me see. All right, first we'll start with a North. Hang on. All right, guys, we're doing something different here. Here we go.
Nick at the technology helm here.
All right, here we go. So you guys can actually visually see our players.
All
We'll
right.
start with a North. You go first. I want to pull up stats and stuff.
I took Leah Mary Diaz Marino from Long Branch, 22 points against Point Borough and 15 against Howell to start her season.
That's a good start. I went with Manal and Carolyn Deaver. She had 31 points, 9 rebounds, 4 steals to start the year. She had 17 in their victory over Freehold. She had 10 and 6 boards against Shore Regional. So those are a North players of the week for week 1. A South, I'll let you start with that. I'm going to pull up. Martine had a very good week.
Yeah, it seems like we both have the same player here, Martine Chevalier from
Mhm.
Central. 20 points to start the season against Lacey, 12 against Donovan Catholic, and 16 against Southern.
Mm-hmm. And I think she's in double digits for steals already.
And probably assists. I mean, she had a lot of assists in the Donovan game.
Yeah, I wish I
So,
kept. I got lazy and I stopped keeping tracks in the second half of the games we were at. But I promise, during the season, I'll do a better job. I just want to pull up her overall stats. So for steals, 10 steals. She has 10 steals and 14 assists, which
a
seems a
little
little
low.
light compared to
Yeah,
for what we saw. Um, but very smart player, gets the ball into the right person's hands. A lot of coaches would love a player, with that kind of intelligence.
yeah, absolutely.
Our A Central, Riley Drejos opened up the season with 33 points and then followed up against with 22 against a tough RBC team. What would you like to say about Riley?
Well, she had a great start to the season. 22 against RBC, playing down a couple players. I believe there were a couple players, a
I
couple
think,
starters out.
yeah, uh-huh.
So to get 22 against the number 2 or 3 team in the Shore, that's a pretty good accomplishment.
Yes, NJ.com put her, player to watch this year. I know APP also had, she's she got the preseason recognition now. She's starting to deliver and to show, to show sure how good she really is there. B North, I went with Madison St. Rose. Uh, with her though, she could end up winning this every every
Right.
single week. She's just so consistent. Does what has to, does what she needs to do for the team to win the games.
And I went with Iris Ascona from Red Bank Regional. Like we said, 31 points to start the season against Wall, against Chartier Valley, and 15 against Friel Township. While running the point and being kind of the consistent leader on that team. So
yes, and new home for her, and it's glad that she right away got acclimated, and JT's great coach, made her feel at
absolutely.
home right away. B South, I went with Lacey's Sarah Zimmerman. She's got 27 points and 15 rebounds. 25 rebounds and 15 steals to start the season to help lead Lacey to a 3-0 start.
And I went with Gabby Ross. It was tough. A lot of good individual efforts in the B South to start the season. I went with Gabby. 22 against St. Joe's by the Sea, 27 against Central, and 22 against Brick.
Mm-hmm. B Central, I went with Lauren McCannon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. From Henry Hudson. They're 1-0. I think this division does not do a good job inputting your results. They beat Keyport. I think they might have had another game. I'm not sure, but
Keensburg. I think they. I don't. Yeah, Keensburg and Keyport played, but there are no stats for that game.
Yeah, only the losing team has stats, and not the winning team. So.
And there were a couple teams in that division that hadn't started their season yet. So.
Yes. But I know Rainey played, and there's nothing there for that. But I think she finished with a double in her victory. That division was it was tough to pick because not a lot of not a lot of stats.
And they started their season at a division against Lakewood. So Lakewood is, everybody knows they're not a great team, but maybe better than some of the B Central teams that they'll play during the season. So that was a good win.
Yeah. C North, we both picked Rosie from St. Rose. Pull up her overall stats. 57 points, 13 rebounds, 7 steals, doing it on both ends. The junior with a team of a lot of freshmen, so she's gonna have to, be one of those leaders with Maggie this season.
Agreed. She started off the season well, and they're expecting her a lot from her and her leadership, and so far so good.
So I brought it up early on. I'm happy to announce Broad Street Dough Company, one of my favorite, probably is my favorite.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
A little glare issue.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So every week we're gonna have the Broad Street Dough Company Player of the Week. The winner will be getting a gift card from Broad Street Dough Company. I want to thank Des. She does a great job over there. If you guys want to follow her Instagram and you want to get instantly hungry,
I had a couple yesterday.
Good. Her the Instagram handle is BROADST_DOUGHCO. It's Broad Street Dough Company. They're located in Oakhurst, Freehold. I know there's a couple new locations. I don't want to give them out. I heard rumors where. And they do have a location out in California. If you're ever out in California and get the craving for one of their wonderful donuts. They do specialized donuts for birthdays if you call up ahead of time. Obviously, the Christmas platters are out right now. I'm just going to pull up my favorite donut right there. It's the Nantucket Caramel and Sea Salt. Doug, do you have a favorite donut?
Well, I had I can't remember the name of it. It was the chocolate iced Boston cream.
Okay.
That's it's really good. But again, like Nick said, Des does a lot for the girls in the short conference. So please go out and support her. If you have a sweet tooth like I do, and go out and support Broad Street Dough Company. She does a lot for the short conference, for the girls in the short conference, and let her know you're there because she
Yeah.
supports you.
Yeah, she does. She does a great job. Whenever somebody hits a milestone, like 1,000 points or something, I always see the photos online within a couple of days of the donuts. Um, and she's always been a great fan of girls basketball in the area, and supports the girls all the time. So, Des, thank you for helping us out with this and agreeing to be the sponsor. So, with that said, our week one Dough Company Player of the Week is Riley Drajos from Shore Regional. Riley finished with 55 points the week. I don't have the full stats in front of me. Stepped up big in the RBC game, even though a little lopsided score. Really stepping into her own this season and playing with her body language. She just seems so confident out there. Just watching some, film on her and watching her highlights. I look forward to getting to see her this week playing.
Yeah, congratulations, Riley, and don't forget I like chocolate ice Boston cream.
So everyone, we got to finish with our top 10.
Top
And
10.
then we're done. Hang on, let me pull that up. All right. Look at Mr. Technology here. My friend
I'm
was
impressed, Nick.
my
I'm
friend
impressed.
Peter, who uploads this, which none of these would be done without Peter. I was trying to get him to do a logo for Broad Street, or at least get the logo up, and he called me this morning. He was, I can't do it. I go, got you covered. I figured out how to share it while we're. So here's our updated top 10. I'm going to show you guys while we're going over it. Doug, I'll let you go through yours first.
Top stayed the same. I had St. John Vianney number 1. I did switch Manasquan and RBC. So Manasquan now number 2, RBC number 3. Donovan Catholic stays number 4. St. Rose moves up to number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Rumson Fairhaven at 6. Red Bank Regional at 7. Homedale at 8. Homedale, and again, I feel bad for the Homedale. I was really looking forward to seeing them play Toms River North this week, and that game was canceled. So hopefully those issues get solved soon. Mm-hmm. Jackson Memorial enters my top 10 at number 9, and Neptune enters at number 10.
Very similar. St. John Vianney, obviously no explanation needed. Manasquan, RBC, they stay the same for me, as does Donovan. Like I said, Donovan has a lot of firepower there. St. Rose, I have moved up. They're coming along a lot faster than I guess people, everyone's expecting with the freshmen. So start the season off with a nice couple wins. I moved Rumson up to 6. Big win against Middletown South, who always plays them pretty tough. I have Neptune at 7, defeating Toms River North. They did impress me on the court. Be good to see how they do in the future. Which division are they in?
Neptune.
They are in.
Neptune is in A North. E North. E North or B North?
B North. They're in B North.
Yeah.
So with RBR, that's going to be an interesting matchup when they play RBR. That will probably decide. I know we touched on it a little bit in the preview, but they Neptune looked pretty good out there, especially Evans. I have Toms River North at 8. I was impressed with their Marlboro win. I was disappointed. I said after the game that kind of ruins my top 10 this week when Neptune beat them. So I do have them 8. RBR, I moved from 10 to 9. And I still have Marlboro in the top 10. Rebound from the loss with a couple good wins. I dropped Homedale. They only played one game, unfortunately. Hopefully they're back on the court soon. Yeah, that's the only team I dropped. Mm-hmm. So it was the Homedale team. So that rounds off the top 10, and I'm going to keep this here, and every week we're just going to move over one so everyone can track to see how everyone moves up and down throughout the season. So, so that's it. Merry Christmas to everybody, and
Yeah, Merry
everyone
Christmas.
have happy holidays. Everyone enjoy their time with their family. See everyone back on the courts next week, and have a see. Well, hopefully we get week 2 done before New Year's. We should be able to.
Yeah, we should. We'll see everybody Monday at the OVM
Yes.
Christmas Classic.
Unfortunately, I won't be there all day again because I know work already is going to be nuts Sunday night and Monday night, but hopefully stop there. And Tuesday, I will be at the Shore Regional tournament for the semifinals. Tuesday. I think they're earlier, and I think WOBM semis are later, so I might be able to do both.
I think the girls OVM is Wednesday would be the semi. No, wait, no, you're
Six,
right. Tuesday,
6 o'clock,
Tuesday's the semifinals, right?
6 and
6 and
7:45.
yeah. Okay.
So, and I think Shore Regional's 12 and 2 for
Okay.
the semis, so I could have a nice day of traveling and doing basketball. So, but everyone have happy holidays, and we'll see you next week.
See you next
Thanks,
week.
thanks, Doug. Tell Morgan have a good Christmas too.
I will. Thank you very much.